Our opening sequence tries to develop and challenge conventions of a thriller through the victim, the mise-en-scène, the effects when editing, and the killer. A convention that we developed was having the victim as a girl. Many thriller films have the girl as the victim to suggest vulnerability to that character. A real-life film that has this is the 1960s film Psycho. We also developed a convention by having a flashback. A flashback creates a sense that there's a story or reason behind why something happened. It also creates suspense and allows the audience to figure out their own narrative of the story and trying to figure out the story while the film is going on. A convention that we challenged was having the girl having brown hair instead of blonde, because stereotypically in US films most of the girls are blonde, or the victims are blonde. We did this because the task was to create a low British budget film, and you don't really see many blonde girls around in Britain. We also challenged the convention, a thriller convention, through the name. Our main character's name was Scarlett Jones. Jones creates a sense of Britishness because of the film Bridget Jones, which was set in Britain. Scarlett also suggests the connotations of blood, death, which can also help the audience figure out that death might be involved. A convention of thriller is that most murders happen in a dark place. We developed this idea by having the murder in the forest. Connotations of a forest are dark because of the shadows of the trees, the small close path to suggest that she can't get away, the danger because you never know who's hiding behind a bush, and the fact that a forest is big and you could get lost, which creates a sense of scariness. We represented our girl, or Scarlett, as vulnerable. This can be shown through the headphones that she puts in, because teenagers now love listening to their music, and things could happen because they don't hear what's happening outside of the music that they hear, and something could happen to them, which allows the audience to relate incidents that have maybe happened to them. Because she is on a jog, it can suggest that she's running and wanting to lose weight to look a certain way because of what society thinks today. Because she is a teenager, she would probably look up to loads of movie stars and want to look like them, so losing weight is probably the only way to do it, which is what Scarlett thinks. Scarlett is white British, and representations of white, or the connotations, are strong, independent, and can maybe seem more powerful than other ethnic groups because of what the media has interpreted the ethnic groups to be compared to the whites. We would use the internet to distribute our film because internet's very popular these days and it can influence the audience, and social network sites are very popular with our target audience. Twitter is a social network site that has marketed a film. It marketed Bruno by creating a Twitter page. The humour in that name allows the audience to think that maybe this film will be a comedy, and because comedies are very popular they might want to go see it because the accent is quite funny and they might want to watch a movie to see what this character is like with his accent. Facebook is probably the most popular social network site because news on Facebook spreads quickly, whether it's personal information, celebrity gossip, anything. So uploading a video or a film, in fact, onto Facebook would create positive or negative feedback, and by having the video on Facebook, everyone will hear about it, whether they hear about it or watch the actual film. YouTube is a website where everyone uploads their videos because it's users generated content. It's only there because people have uploaded things about themselves or filmed them singing or whatever. This allows everyone worldwide to see it, and in some cases those people who uploaded videos or whatever about them could become someone famous. An example of this is Justin Bieber. He was an ordinary kid and he just uploaded videos of himself singing and became a pop star sensation. Even though the internet's very popular through the social network sites, we would also create our own website through the low budget British films, because it shows off aspiring film creators their talent, and they could be asked to either edit or create a film themselves later in life. So uploading a low budget British film onto a low budget British film website could start their career in some way. Although most homemade movies are uploaded onto the internet, some can be shown in independent cinemas. There's an independent cinema in Richmond where they would show small company films that could generate and be passed on to big cinemas like Odeon or IMAX. Our audience for this movie was between the ages of 15 and 25. This is sort of an older teenager, young adult age because of the age of the characters that were in the film. Scarlett is a typical 16-17-year-old girl, and so 16 and 17-year-old girls would probably want to go watch so they can relate to the film in some way or another. I don't think that there's a specific gender to who the film is aimed at. Girls would go see it because they want to see what happens to the girl, because most thrillers involve a girl becoming ill or dying for whatever reason, and they want to see if they can relate to the girl in any way. Boys would probably go watch this movie because in a thriller there's action, blood, adventure and mystery, which boys love in a way, so they would probably just go to watch that. We attracted the audience through tension, suspense and mystery. We built up a sense of what's going to happen through the quick shots of Scarlett or Sarah running through the forest. This suggests that something will happen because the quick shots are just really fast and they keep on changing. The camera shot from coming out the bush was from the killer's point of view. The audience could think this because they are chasing after Sarah, and this can get them to think of what's going to happen to Sarah because something's chasing them, but they don't know what because it's the point of view. This also creates a sense of mystery. The end shot of Scarlett lying on the floor dead allows the audience to think, well, why is she dead? How did she die? What's going to happen now? Who's the killer? If the movie was to be made, it will allow the audience to look at all the characters through the film and let them try and figure out who was the murderer. It gets them intrigued and involved with the film because they're so interested on who the murderer is and why they killed Scarlet. What I've learnt from using the technology for construction of our film is that it's so much more quicker and easier to use than it was maybe 20-30 years ago. The digital camera is really light to carry and it's handheld, so you don't have to have a massive bag to carry it around. And it's quite easy to use as well. All you have to do is press a button to record, press it back when you want to stop, easy as. The map that we used to create our film, it has the iMovie, which allows us to make the movie. It has so much many more effects to create a better quality movie, and this is probably why many aspiring filmmakers have Macs with iMovie, so that they can get used to the technology and the whole iMovie process, so that maybe if they do become a film editor, then they are knowledgeable of how to use iMovie. What we learnt from the preliminary task, Feed the Fish, is quite a lot. I learnt to not think about the editing process when we were filming, because if you have in your mind what you want to edit and how, it might not be possible when you actually come to the editing. So it'll go a bit wrong, and the shot that you took might have been the only chance to take it. So you would have, instead of thinking about the editing process, you would have just had to film, i.e. to leave space out before and after. I also learned that you had to shoot the same scene quite a few times, so that when it does come to the editing process and putting all the best clips together, you can choose from a variety of shots the best one to make it the best film ever. A problem we had was match and action, which we saw when the preliminary task was finished. We learnt to leave space before and after the scene or action of the scene. This was shown through the opening door that we used, because there was a shot of me walking into the door, or opening the door, and which cut to me coming into the room and shutting the door. It wasn't as smooth as we wanted it to, which didn't show continuity editing, which we really wanted it to. But in our main task, we did leave space before and after the shot, so match and action could happen, so that the continuity editing would be really smooth.